Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Today is day 11. I have the canvas propped up a little bit. It's my low-key water bottle. All of my table easels aren't set up in a way that I could film. So I am going to make this work. I needed to lift it, pardon my voice. I needed to lift it up a little bit so I could see it a little bit more clearly. Ideally, I'd have it on an easel right now, but this actually works. This angle works okay. I want to be able to see it with a slightly different perspective. When it's flat, everything looks elongated or looks shorter, and you lift it up and everything's really long and tall. So I wanted to see that. I'm also noticing in the video, watching the playback, the glare from this light over here is pretty bad, and you guys can't really see what I'm seeing, but that's okay. I'll share pictures, of course, at the end. And I shared a picture on my Instagram and Facebook yesterday of where this landed. And in my head, as I've been working on this piece, I've had this vision of building up this texture and then glazing into it to pick up all the nooks and crannies. And then towards the very end, kind of highlighting some of these high spots. So that's been in my vision as I've gone, and I'm kind of at two places with this piece right now. There's a part of me that wants to continue with this groovy texture that's in here, right here, and kind of pull out that motion of how these sort of circles kind of move into this spiral kind of shape. So with this being the focal point. And I think this is the orientation that I'm happiest with right now. So I'm loving this and wanting to play and build up this texture. And at the same time, I got this new brush, but it's still wet. Part of me wants to like all over the whole thing. So yeah, I don't know. It's discovery and play is the intention. So I'm just going to keep sitting with that and see what happens. If I reach for that brush and just kind of do something big, don't come for me. But yeah, what I'm thinking about right now is I'm building up a lot of texture, which is great. I also want to make sure I've got some good contrast. And if this is going to be my focal point, I want the biggest difference between dark and light to be here, but I also want enough dark and light to make the whole thing be interesting. And one of the things I do is I look at it through a black and white filter. I'll take a picture on my camera. Sorry, I'm just reaching for something off camera here. I'll take a picture of it on my camera and edit the color out in black and white. But I'm also curious if you can see that. I can't look through the video right now. What that should do is take most of the color away. So what you're looking at is mostly value. That'll be interesting to see if that works. These are just pieces of polymer that are red, but you can get different filters for that to help you see values. So I'm also looking at that. Is the painting overall interesting? Is my focal point strong enough? I might need to make this a little bit darker. The other thing I can do is make this a little bit lighter. The other thing I'm thinking about is, and I do want to put a little on that white spot right there to make this kind of figural. I really like that story. These two kind of compete with each other because this is really dark and in some ways darker than this. And I've got some light right here next to it. It's also bigger. So I'm going to sit with that. I don't want it to be the same size as this, even though this has so much gold. So I'm sitting with that too. The other thing is I really want this play of soft and hard edges. So this is a really strong hard edge right here, which is fine because this is the focal point and where I kind of want you to land. So that's okay. And at the same time, I want to keep some of these soft edges. So the balance I'm playing right now is between adding this sort of texture, which gives me that motion that I'm looking for. That's really what I want the texture to do. I want it to create the motion to move the eye through the painting. And maintaining the soft edges around some of that. So that's the balance I'll be striking. And yeah, so today I'm just going to go for it and see where we land. I mixed up a lovely batch of what looks like frosting. This is, I went back to the heavy gel. And the thing about the heavy gel is it can make it a little bit more translucent. So we'll see how that goes. Not sure if I like that or not, but we'll find out. But I mean, look at the texture on that, right? Like that's going to give me the texture I'm looking for. So this is some Titan Buff, some Hansa Yellow Light, some Titanium White, and literally for this entire pile, 1 drop of Pyrrole Red, just a single drop to warm it up a little bit and be slightly different than what the other layers are that are on there already. Pardon me. So that's the plan for today. We'll see where we go, how far I can get in this 5 minutes, but that's my intention today, is just texture, texture, texture. And after that dries, then tomorrow I can come back and look at some more glazing. So this is also going to build some depth because I'm going to add some lightness on top of what's here that's dark and see. So in terms of cohesiveness, my colors, this Hansa, or not Hansa, the Nickel Azo Gold that I put over here yesterday, where it is its strongest, that color doesn't exist anywhere else in the painting. But where it's mixed in with some of that other color, it does, because this other color that I put on first was the Hansa Yellow, Titan Buff, and Titanium White mixture. So there's some cohesiveness going on there, but it does still stand out to me that these pinks and this orange here doesn't quite align. So we'll see how that goes. I can glaze at the end and try and bring some of that together. I can also take some of this color and bring it into some of these pieces. So there's nothing wrong with that either. Even bring in a little bit of that cobalt turquoise into here, which is gorgeous next to this. That's this darker color, or the cobalt teal, which is the brighter. And that next to this color is just like happiness in a bottle. So, and funny enough, this was the circle that I was kind of like, yeah, it's okay if it's gone. It's one of my favorites now. So that's how these things evolve. But I do really love how it puddled in here. So we'll see. The other thing I'm playing with is if I want to do the next layer of glaze with Quin Magenta instead. So, and or maybe mixing these two together. I just don't want it to get too dark, but I can also come back over it with that. I want to keep my contrast. So anyway, I've got lots of stuff going on in my head. I've only got 5 minutes at a time to play with any of these. What I did do yesterday is start a new clean off board. So I decided to do this one on watercolor paper, and I just sort of started playing with some colors and throwing things together. And so this is a great test place for me to come to test out colors and stuff. This fluorescent orange, oh, it's just so luscious. There's a part of me that wants to put that on here too. But that I don't have anywhere, but I do have this. So that might end up somewhere in there as well. Not sure. Who knows? Everything's up for grabs still. It's day 11. What am I going to say? I've got all kinds of texture tools in here if I want to add some stuff. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes at this angle. I want to make sure I'm against the wood and not the canvas. I think I'm fine back here. And hopefully it's not too wonky for you all. I'm going to set the timer. I will be right back. I think I'm going to start off with a palette knife and see if that's the texture that I like around this. I'm also thinking about what direction I want this to go. This is nice, this kind of peachy color. It's very soft. It kind of goes back to that pinky color that I had before. There's a softness to it that I really like. this were. Let's see, which direction are you going? You're coming this way, and so you're gonna go this way. When I was looking at this, I just really, like, my favorite part was looking at this little area right there where that texture caught. This almost looks like a heart shape here. I'm still seeing hearts everywhere, by the way, which I think is really interesting. We were out playing in the snow the other day. My daughter, who's 4, said, "Mommy, throw me a snowball. Make me a snowball that I can throw to you." So I just scooped up some snow in my gloves and squished it just a little bit so that it would stick together. It was pretty wet, which wasn't hard. And when I handed it to her, it was in the shape of a heart. I was just like, wow, there's just, that's what the message is for me right now, is to just be love. Just put that vibe out there. I think there's a lot of folks right now who could use that vibe. So that's what I'm putting out in the world. If you need it, I'm here for you. And if you don't need it, that's awesome. You may consider sending some out to those who do. It's been a really interesting process. This every painting is a dance. You know, you're dancing between layers, you're dancing between light and dark and shape and movement, and this one in particular, not being able to have a lot of time in between. This is already so textured, you can tell it wants to catch on there, and I'm not mad at that. That's just going to make it even more interesting, in my opinion. And I may need to lift this here. If I don't get it back where I had it before, bear with me. Okay, what am I missing? I'm missing... This little guy has some goodness here, so I don't really want to mess with that, because again, I'm going to glaze over this, so... Went a little too far into that. I'm not trying to make these perfect. In fact, the more dead-on circular they are, the less I like them. So let's see what we think about that from a motion perspective. Alrighty, well, that, my friends, is the timer. Okay. Let me just see one thing while this is wet. I don't know if I'm gonna like that or not. This trying to imagine if I were moving along this in a spiral, I would be going this way to here, down here, to here, up to here, over to here, down to here, and landing there. So let's see, I kind of like that movement. It's hard to tell with this light. Let me hold this. Oops, I just stuck my hand in a bunch of stuff. Let me hold that up for you guys to see a little bit better. I kind of like that, those lines. If I had more time, I would add more of this color and cover this out a little bit more, just to see how that goes. So what I like about this is it connects these circles a little bit better. I think what I have to do, as much as I like this shape right here, I think I've got to bring this in and connect this. If I don't, it's going to look a little too different than the others. I'll just do a little bit. That other texture is already there. So that kind of brings it in. That's what I was missing before, was some of that connection point, you know, down to here. Over to here, up to here, across to here, and down to here. So, okay, getting there. Again, not 100% there yet. A little bit closer. This may need to go in this corner at some point. But that's where we are. Let me just kind of drag that through a little bit. Okay, day 11. Oh, 5 minutes at a time, excruciating. I've got all of this paint over here, so that's going to go on this cleanup board. I'll give you guys an update on where some of these other paintings are. This one I still need to finish, but this is what this is turning into. I don't know if you can see that all the way, actually. I don't know if that's too high. But this was a clean-off page from earlier, and super sweet. So I want to finish this. And I've got this other one started. So yeah, time to make some room and get going on the other pieces. Although I must say, I think while this is wet, what if I bring this along the edge a little bit? And just so I've got a little bit of texture there on the sides too. That's going to add some interest when I add the next layer of glaze. Okay, that makes me happier. All right, I'm done. I will see you all next time. Bye.